Hey, hey, welcome back to another episode of the She's Making an Impact podcast. I'm your host, Rachel and Ngom. Oh my goodness, I have such a great interview today. We're talking about high performance habits and developing a killer relationship. So tell me, are you the kind of entrepreneur who is like hustling to get everything done because you're super driven? And you know that you could be doing more to get to the next level. So you need systems and habits set up to get to that next level. And you're also so driven that a lot of times relationships suffer. So today I brought on a guest expert, Eva Medilek. She's a certified high performance coach and has been incorporating transformational research-backed principles into her practice while helping executives, entrepreneurs, influencers, and business leaders create sustained heightened levels of success in business and in personal life by developing relationships and influence, taking radical responsibility, and implementing habits for success. So we talk a lot about high performance habits and developing stronger relationships. So let's dive in. Hey, Eva, welcome to the show.
Hi, Rachel. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about you.
About me. Well, what most people don't know about me is that I've spent nearly 40 years in the profession of dental hygiene, and I now am an executive certified high performance coach and a relationship success coach. So what I do now is I marry the habits, practices, and principles of high performance with relationship coaching that allows my clients to really lead a fully charged life. And so that was a journey for me. And in between that, and what I also currently do is I'm a real estate investor as well. So, I just love the full life that I'm living, but thank goodness no longer cleaning teeth for a living.
Yes, totally. So how did you get into the high performance and relationship coaching?
It was during my journey of entrepreneurship, what I was building with my real estate investment company. At the same time, I was working my day job as a hygienist, literally had me as a burnt out, stressed out, overwhelmed mess. And my health was affected, my mood was affected, and my relationship was affected. And I realized at one point that I was just really trying to do it all. And I was burnt out and frustrated. And when I discovered that my husband was having an affair with another woman, I realized in that moment that I had a part to play in that I had some responsibility in that, and that if we were going to make it as a couple, if we committed to that, we would have to build a new relationship, but also work on ourselves. And so that's when I really learned the value of relationships, and how you do one thing is how you do everything, because it's spilled out into every area of our lives.
Yeah.
And, long story short, we actually have an amazing relationship now. But what we did was we worked on ourselves. We worked on our relationships. We worked on ourselves separately. And it laid the framework of my relationship coaching, because up until then, I had been doing real estate investing coaching as well. But I realized people were not, the mindset wasn't right for success. And when I discovered the habits of high performance through my coach, Brenda Burchard, I knew that that would be a perfect match for the foundation of having healthy, vibrant relationships, and then really building an amazing future and vision for your life with high performance habits. So that's literally, I got through that and got to this point because I lived it. And I knew the value of really putting those habits, practices, and principles to work.
Incredible. So clarify for me, are you helping high performers with their relationships, or are you helping people become high performers within the relationship? Can you clarify it for me a little bit?
I'm helping people become high performers in every area of their life.
Got it. And have a great relationship.
And the benefit of that is creating great relationships out of that too. And so here's what I believe. You have to know yourself before you can grow yourself, and taking a realistic look on how the habits, practices, beliefs, and behaviors that you got from your early life experiences, how they come into play in today's world. So that is kind of the foundation. And once you recognize where you are, how that is showing up in your life, you can then move on and to bring high performance into every area of your life. But you got to know yourself first. It's not a quick fix.
Got it. So what are some of the high performance habits?
Well, the high performance habits are really center around 5 key areas: clarity, energy, courage, productivity, and influence. Those are the 5 core areas of high performance. Being clear about who you are, how you relate to others, who you want to be in life, and what makes you successful. What of those qualities do you need to embody to be a success? Having the energy, not only physically, but your mental energy, your emotional energy, your spiritual energy. How do you show up in full vibrancy with mental energy and physical stamina to do all the things that you want to do in life? Productivity, a lot of us are doing busy work. We're busy, 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 but how effective is that? What are the competing interests that we have? What are the distractions that are pulling us off course? And then before you know it, the day is gone and we wonder why we got nothing done, but we were so busy in every hour, right?
Yep.
And then we have courage. Who do you need to be to take bold actions and action steps for your goals and your vision? Being aware of what the fear is that's holding you back, because part of it, we may fear the process, we may fear the outcome. We've got to challenge ourselves in these areas to really be aware of why is it we haven't taken those bold steps? What is holding us back? And so once we become aware of what we fear, once we challenge ourselves and have the courage to take those bold actions, we get amazing results in our lives.
How do you become aware of that fear?
Well, actually, there are some powerful, powerful coaching questions to bring that out, and it has to do with literally recognizing some of the fears we had in childhood, whether it's fear of rejection, fear of fear of making a mistake is a big one I find with high performers, because they have that looking good conversation.
Yeah.
People are going to see that I'm not perfect, that I don't have it all together. And so being aware of what those fears are, one of the things I do as a coach is to tap into some of those early life experiences and challenges that may have built what I call an armor or a wall around you taking those bold actions. Because maybe, I can name one distinctly. When I was in, I think it was 3rd grade, and the teacher asked, what do butterflies do? And I remember my cousin telling me that they made butter because he caught one once and it had pollen in its hand. And so funny. I was like, I know what butterflies do. They make butter. And the entire class laughed at me and the teacher laughed. And it kept me from speaking up.
Ooh, yeah.
In rooms, like for the rest of my life.
Wow.
And so really being aware of like, well, why don't I speak up? Why do I tend to play small? So that's one of the things that I work with in my clients, in recognizing, because, not everybody remembers those incidences to such detail as I do, because that one stood out. But there are other subtle nuances that hold us back from taking bold, courageous action that we may not be aware of. But it takes those powerful questions from a coach to bring that out.
For sure. Let's talk. I want to talk energy and productivity, because those are the two that I see entrepreneurs really need help with. So how can we stay high energy?
Well, there are a lot of things you can do. One of the things that a formula that I got from Brendan Burchard was MEDS RX, MEDS and RX, like a prescription. Meditation, exercise, diet, sleep, and supplements. One of the things that I work with closely with my clients around energy is I compare it to a racetrack. When you see cars going around the racetrack at, I don't know, what are they, 250 miles per hour and whatever,
Yeah.
and you see the lead car get off the track and go for a pit stop. But nothing's wrong with the car. Nothing happened to the engine. What that car is doing is re-energizing so they can have that same level of energy that they started the race to finish the race and win the race. We as humans don't do that for ourselves. You know, we may have breakfast or our coffee. And now that a lot of people are working from home, and even when we were in offices, sit down at our desk and just work straight through until lunchtime, which could be 3 or 4 hours. Well, that doesn't re-energize us. And so I teach my clients how to take these tiny little 3 to 5 minute re-energizing breaks. And there's specific things that you can do to re-energize. But also, you know, a lot of us in the coaching business will have low energy because maybe a client or a customer that we had actually took a lot more effort and pulled some of our energy out. Well, how do we release some of that energy as well? So we do release techniques, we do re-energizing techniques. And I teach my clients how to set up their schedule and their day so that they can have those breaks, so that you're not going back to back to back. And then, you know, most of us, our families used to get what's left over of us after we finished our work day.
Yep.
And that's like eating breakfast and expecting it to last till dinner or even the next day.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to refuel.
For sure.
So that's the energy part. And then there's the mental energy as well. You know, what is your morning routine? How do you set yourself up to win the day? What habits and practices do you have in place to show up fully energetic and vibrant and on your A game with your clients, with your customers, with your coworkers, you know, in your position? And so really finding what habits work for you to bring out your best is what we go through in high performance as well.
What are some habits that you would suggest? Like
for
in the
energy?
morning? Yeah, for the morning.
For the morning, well, my morning routine actually starts before I get on the computer. So I get up before the rest of the house does. I even tiptoe around the dog. And but what I suggest to my clients is do not turn on your phone or your computer first thing in the morning. Give yourself that space to plan your day. So look at your calendar and plan where you can put in those breaks. Get a game plan as when you can re-energize and refuel yourself. Maybe do a meditation to really get your mindset right and set your intention for the day. Podcasts, a lot of times I'll be working out and listen to some podcasts while I'm working out to really get my mind right for the day. So whatever morning routine works for you. I love to write and create in the mornings. So that actually sets me up because my mind is always full of ideas. And so I give myself space to do that. So I would say have at least an hour before your phone and your computer come on so that you can have time for you and set yourself up to win the day.
I love that. What about productivity? How do we become more productive?
Productivity. Well, that goes back to planning your day for sure. Number one, figure out what distractions are taking you off the plan of the day. So after you plan your day, you plan in your breaks, you plan it, you know, but you don't work more than 50 minutes on any one given task. So you're not scheduling yourself back to back to back to back. If you've got an hour task, then schedule yourself 10 minutes or 15 minutes before the next, you know, client call or work thing that you have to do. Another thing with productivity I find helps is take care of your emails first before responding to other people's priorities.
Yep.
So what forwards your day? Who do you need to reach out to? And then, you know, and just kind of plan it out. Who do you need to reach out to? Who are you waiting on? What tasks are important? And set 2 or 3 specific goals that you need to accomplish by the end of the day, because most of us, I know I have a to-do checklist because it just feels satisfying to do that.
Totally.
But all of those checklists really are for a specific goal. You know, these are usually things that I need to remember to do because like, oh, I have to, get back to my dad or things like that so that I don't forget. But my point is, you want to set yourself up to win the day.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes planning. It really takes planning, and figure out what those distractions are. Social media is a huge distraction.
Huge. Totally.
So schedule it. Just schedule it and set a timer. Set a timer. I'm going to spend 20 minutes, seeing what my friends are up to on Facebook or responding to people in my Facebook group if you've got a business page. And schedule that in, but set the timer, because you can go down that black hole of social media so easily. And all of a sudden an hour has gone by. And really, when you plan your day, really set the priorities. Like I said, the three main things that you need to get done. And once you do that, you can really exhale, even if it wasn't perfect and you allowed yourself to go down a rabbit hole, but you got the three main tasks done for your major goal or vision for that day.
Awesome. I love that. What is radical responsibility?
Radical responsibility is pretty much, if it's to be, it's up to me.
Mm-hmm.
We have choices,
Mm-hmm.
and our results, our results are a direct response to the choices that we make.
Mm-hmm.
I have this formula that I share with my clients called S plus R equals R. You've got a situation, that's your S, plus the middle R, which either you react or you respond, equals your results.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us don't take time to respond.
Mm-hmm.
We're in reaction mode.
Yep.
A lot of us don't set up our conversations even to have the other person feel seen, heard, and respected. So we get to be responsible for who we are being with ourselves, in our interactions, and in our success markers in our life and business. And so it's a direct result of our choices and taking radical responsibility. And I say radical responsibility, it's really born out of the experience of the pain of infidelity in my marriage. And I like to say that infidelity actually saved my marriage, because that was the catalyst that woke me up to who I was being, how I was showing up with someone that I cared so deeply about, that was partly responsible for his self-sabotaging behavior. And the beauty of how we went through that is we both took 100% responsibility. There was no blame, shame, and guilt. There was just pain. We were hurting a lot, but we learned how to comfort each other. But I took 100% responsibility for who I was being. He did it for his part. And I believe that allowed us to get through all that messy part and come out stronger.
That's huge. Instead of blaming and saying it's your fault, being responsible for everything.
It's so easy to do that. It's
Oh, yeah.
so easy to do that. And, me taking responsibility for my part in no way let him off the hook. So
Right.
I don't want anybody listening to this to hear that from me. But I got to look at, knowing how good of a person my husband is, to look at who I was being. Was I bringing out the best in him as a wife, as a partner, as a business partner? And you know what? I probably would have cheated on me too, just to feel good,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. Yeah.
Yeah. So how can we have the successful business and be a high performer there and have the great relationship? Because a lot of times what happens, I know this was me when my son was a baby, so driven, so focused, like work comes easy for me. And the relationship is the part that I've really gotten to work at over the past several years of like, how can I be the best mom, the best wife I can possibly be, and have a great business. Because if I'm not intentional about this part, it's so easy for me to just work and work and work. And so how do you have that balance and show up in both places in excellence?
You sound like me.
Uh-huh.
I love to, like, my happy place is working and creating and
Yep.
serving. That's my happy place. And then it's like, oh, I got a husband.
Yeah.
Let me go take care of that.
Yep.
Well, you know, we can't do it all, and we can do it all. It's leverage. I always say, you get to ask for support. Balance
Yes.
balance is not equal.
Hmm.
You're not spending an equal amount of time at work and an equal amount of time with your family.
Yeah.
It's just not equal. There are some days that one area requires more of your time than other, more of your energy, more of your efforts than others, and just be okay with that. And so I feel really strongly about not doing it all. And one of the things that got me into the not only health breakdown in my body, but my relationship breakdown as well, was the stress of carrying it all. And I remember one therapist even said to me, "Oh my God, you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders." I was trying to be everything for everybody
Yeah.
and nothing for me. And so one of the things I'm sure you hear a lot of people talk about, self-care. You know what? You've got to take care of yourself so that you can be on your A game for the things and the people that are important for you.
Yep.
And schedule, I was talking to someone yesterday and I said, I will forget to have fun
Yeah.
because I love what I do,
Yeah.
but I'll forget to have fun. I mean, I got a dog when I realized I was working too hard. I was like, I need to stop and roll around and have, roll on a belly and rub a belly. But we have an agreement in our relationship that my husband schedules in the fun. And if I need extra fun, I'll say, honey, what can we do this weekend that's an experience for us? And we'll schedule it. And so the person I was talking to yesterday said, well, that doesn't sound fun and spontaneous to schedule it. I said, what it does to the brain, though, is it gives you something to look forward to.
Yeah.
The anticipation is like, it's like a birthday.
Yeah.
Or Christmas. Those are scheduled. And they're fun and you get to look forward to it. And what it does to your brain is really gives you that heightened sense of joy and fun and anticipation. And I have, unless I'm in the middle of a launch or a project, I have a hard stop. My goal is to be free by 3.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
but I stopped scheduling after 3. There's no appointments, maybe once in a while, but I'll have to manually do that. My schedule is not open after 3. And lost my train of thought for a second. But yeah, I schedule in and have a hard stop, but I make agreements with my family. If, like I said, I am in the middle of a launch or a bigger project, like I have a big presentation on Saturday. So I've been working after dinner, but I tell my husband, until Saturday, this is what this week is going to be like.
Yep.
And so he doesn't have to wonder. He doesn't have to think I'm breaking an agreement and sit and sulk, because men will tend to sit and sulk and not let you go.
Yeah.
And so just make those agreements and really be intentional about what you want to create in your life.
Yeah. I love what you said of asking for support. That's huge. That's been one of the biggest breakthroughs for me over this past several months. We actually hired a babysitter for the first time ever, and we have a 7-year-old. Never had a babysitter.
Congratulations.
It was a huge breakthrough for me of asking for that support when, like, my parents, they're not in town half the year or whatever. And especially now with TJ being, like, when he was at school, it was easy, but he's in virtual school now. So it takes a lot more time, and having a baby. So yes, I got a babysitter and actually went to the French cafe for 3 hours with my laptop and worked, and it was glorious. And I'm like, how come I've never done this before?
And then your husband probably gets a re-energized, happier wife out of it.
Exactly. So asking for support, huge.
And and sometimes paying for that support can, if you've got some money history and money story, and I'm speaking about myself personally, can really be a block or a barrier to you. That's why it's
Yeah.
really important to have someone show you things that you may not be seeing, and really dig into, like, why is it so, like, for me, it's the cleaning lady.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I got no time to be dusting and vacuuming, and I like a clean house.
Yep.
So, like, how can I create a both and not an either or? Like, most entrepreneurs think that they have to sacrifice so much to be successful.
Yep.
And the beauty of high performance is you can have a both and life
Yeah.
and still build your business and grow and reach that next level without giving up your health and your well-being and your relationships in the process. You can do it.
I love that.
Mhm.
Talk to us about the endurance event that you participated in and how that changed you.
Oh my goodness. That was, oh my gosh, how old was I? I'm 60 now, so I was probably mid 50s, maybe 56 or 57, and I
And
had never.
if you're watching the video and you heard her say she's 60, you probably did a double take because you look like you're like 32. So
It's funny because I do hear that a lot. And so I actually made a video about my skincare regimen,
ooh, I want to see that.
and it's homemade. It's everything that I make myself
I like
for cleansing. So I was like, this will be a fun thing to launch around the holidays, just a little 20-minute, like, this is what I do, this is how I make it, and this is the ingredients in the kitchen that I use to make it. It's really cool. But back to that endurance challenge, there was an opportunity with a coach that I was working with, one of her friends, Jessie Itzler, who I think you
I
know.
love Jesse
Yeah.
Itzler.
So Jessie had this endurance challenge that was offered at our mutual coach's zone event. And I thought, I've never done anything like this in my life. This is a challenge for me. It's a growth opportunity because, human nature is just to be comfortable.
Oh yeah.
But there's no growth that happens within your comfort zone. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. And he didn't tell us what the challenge would be, but he gave us the training for the challenge. And but there was a bronze, silver, and gold level training. And so I have a tendency to play small because I don't like to feel like a failure or embarrassed to make a
Just like
mistake.
me.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, if I play it safe, yeah, I could say I did this.
Yep.
But so I always worked out at the bronze or the silver level, or I call it bronze plus. Maybe not all the way silver, but like silver light or bronze plus. And then when we flew out and got to the actual challenge, which was this obstacle course that Jessie had created, I challenged myself to not do the bronze level on the course. And I did the silver level. And I actually was one shy of doing gold, one round shy, but time was up and I didn't make it. And he gave me the option, but I was like, I did exceed my expectations at that point. And when I got to the finish line, it reminded me of my grandma, who I lost at the age of 98.
Wow.
And I also knew her grandmother, who died at 98, and I was like 14 or 15. So my grandmother always challenged herself, and she always endured, and somehow her spirit got into me, and it was one of the most incredible accomplishments. I didn't think I could do it. I was just like, you start to compare yourself to, well, everybody's doing this faster and I can't do a burpee well, and all of that stuff. But I'm like, you know what, I can do this. I can do this. And it was just a huge accomplishment for me at that point. And yeah, it was amazing. I was proud of myself. And I have an interesting story about my relationship as a result of that challenge.
Yeah.
That might be interesting to your viewers and your listeners. One of the things I help my clients with is really communication and having those difficult conversations. And back in the olden days when we used to be able to socialize,
The good old days.
the good old days. This was when I was training, and I would get up 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was traveling a lot, but I would do it from wherever I was in the world. So that was part of the accomplishment, that I stuck to that training schedule, and I didn't let the fact that I was in a different city or state or on a plane, I figured out a way to get it in, even if the gyms were closed in the hotels. I would do it in the stairwell. Like I was that determined to keep going. And I remember overhearing a conversation my husband had at a gathering we were at. And he said, my wife is crazy. She's nuts. She's getting up at 5 a.m., working out for this endurance challenge. And my heart sank. It just sank. And I'm like, why would he think I was crazy? I think I'm doing something that's going to be a huge accomplishment for me. And he was really disrespecting it, and I was hurt. But here's the thing, Rachel, I knew it wasn't his intention to hurt me. He was probably trying to be funny, making conversation, whatever. And I had to go to my husband and say to him one night at dinner, and I set up the conversation in a way I teach my clients to do it. And I said, honey, I need to talk to you about something. Is now a good time? There's something that, I need to get off my chest. And I prefaced it by saying, look, I know you love me, and I know you're proud of me, and I know you care about me, and you would never intentionally hurt me. But when I heard you say that, my heart sunk and my feelings were hurt. And I really wanted to cry at that point, tearing up thinking about it now. And he looked at me and said, oh my goodness, of course I love you. I never meant to hurt you. I'm so sorry. I was just trying to be funny. I said, I know that, but I needed you to know how I felt about that. The growth for me was I would hold that in and hold in that resentment and that hurt.
Yeah.
And there would be silent treatment. That was my MO. And he was supposed to read my mind and know what was going on.
I know.
And the next time we were in a similar situation and I heard him share about my endurance challenge, he said, I'm so proud of my wife, the way she's getting up at 5 a.m. to work out for this endurance challenge. And I felt so heard, seen, heard, and respected in that moment by my husband. But it was how I chose to show up and share with him what was coming up for me.
Ooh, that's powerful. What's one of the best books you've read?
Ooh, one of the best books I read is You Are Badass.
Yeah.
By Jen Sincero. I always love that book because it's personal development with humor.
It's so fun.
Two things I love.
So fun. What does it mean to you to make an impact?
What it means for me to make an impact is to go deeper in my conversations at a deeper level of intimacy and really have a connection with people so that they know that I see them and I hear them and I respect them. And that opens up them to see, hear, and respect me. And especially around this conversation, I've been involved in around race and having conversations around race. I feel that that is very impactful, that everyone feels seen, heard, and respected. Yep. And when you can master that, master a deeper level as opposed to a surface level conversation, you're going to have a greater impact.
You definitely are. It's been incredible to see just how bold you're being around those conversations and just sharing from your heart. So thank you for that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Where can we connect with you?
Talkwitheva.com.
Easy.
It's so easy breezy.
Easy peasy. Well, Eva, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate you.
Oh, thanks, Rachel. I appreciate you letting me be on your show. It's great. Thank you.
Yeah.